We have to very politely tell them that their expectations are a little bit unrealistic. Or as one of my colleagues put it once, "Excuse me, madam, this is medicine, not magic."
Guess what, folks? It's Monday. Monday at 11 o'clock. Welcome to the Chazz Palminteri Podcast. Got a great show today. We got to get the ladies out there. We got a big female following, John. Big female following. And so we want the ladies out there, too, with the men today, because you know what? This might be just as important for the men, I'm thinking. But before I tell you who it is, don't forget to go to my website, chazzpalminteri.net. You can see all the lineup of my shows. John, where am I going to be, John, the next few weeks?
Okay, the first one you're going to be in is March 9th in Niagara Falls at the Avalon Theater.
March 9th, Niagara Falls.
March 23rd, you're going to be in New London, Connecticut at the Guard Arts Center.
Right.
April 13th, you're going to be in Clarksburg, Virginia at the Robinson Grand Performing Arts Center. And then April 20th, you're going to be in Atlantic City at the Ocean Resorts Casino.
Atlantic City at the Ocean Resorts. Atlantic City. Wait, let's not forget June now. I'm going to be back at the Paramount in Huntington. What is that, June 26th?
23rd.
23rd, June 23rd. Okay, so here we go. Also, don't forget to go to my restaurants. White Plains, I'm telling you, we do the best pizza. The best. We got a honey pepperoni pizza that will knock you out. That's right, you heard it right. Honey pepperoni, incredible pizza. 264 Main Street in White Plains and 30 West 46th Street in New York. Now, we don't have pizza in New York, only in White Plains. So come and check it out and go to chazzpalminteri.net. So my next guest, let me tell you something about you want to talk about credentials? All right, folks. You want to see I got important people on this podcast? All right. He was named one of the top doctors in New York. Top cosmetic doctors in Westchester magazine, one of the top. He was in Top Doctors in New York magazine. Past president, NYS Derm Society. Am I saying it right? Yeah.
New York State Derm Society.
New York State Derm Society. Conducted clinical trials for the FDA for 15 years on multiple types of Botox and fillers. He's trained at Yale undergrad, Columbia Med, and dermatology. Currently teaches dermatology at Columbia Presbyterian, besides having one of the most successful practices in all New York. He's a dear friend of mine, and we talked about it one day. I said, you know what, you got to come on my podcast.
My pleasure.
And ladies and gentlemen, Dr. David Bank.
Thank you so much for having me, Chazz.
Doc, I have to say, I mean, dermatology is, especially what you do right now, is huge right now, isn't it?
Absolutely. When I first started in dermatology, which was a number of years ago,
right,
it was primarily medical dermatology or traditional dermatology, but it's evolved enormously, and I've been on the cutting edge ever since the beginning. As you noted in the introduction,
right.
I was involved in the FDA clinical trials from the very beginning for Botox and all sorts of fillers. And basically, when I practice now, many of the products that I use are actually products that I did the FDA trials for.
So you really feel confident and safe of what you give people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was a principal investigator in most of these trials, bringing them to the U.S. market.
Wow. I mean, that alone, if I was looking to do that, which sooner or later I will be at your office.
Not you, Chazz.
No. Hey, listen, I have no qualms with that. If I want to look better, I don't give a damn. I mean, what's the big deal? So what? I'm a big believer in cosmetic surgery. Your wife wants to get, you don't do boobs, but if your wife wants to get your boobs up, why not? Hey, she wants to look good. Damn, why not? You want to get Botox, cheeks, lips? I could give two shits.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. I mean, why not look the best? I mean, what's the question I wanted to ask you? I mean, you do this? I mean, why do you love this? I mean, because I know you're very good at it, obviously.
Thank you.
Why do you love it so much of what you do?
Well, actually, you just kind of alluded to it. One of the reasons I love getting up every morning and going to the office is I help people love to the way they look.
Right.
I love that they look in the mirror and they love the way they look.
Now, I know what you're saying, but you know, we speak the truth here. Did you ever get somebody who comes to you and like hands you a magazine and go, "Could you make me look like her?" Does that ever happen? Something like
Yes,
that?
yes, that has happened more than once.
Really?
Yeah, where someone will come in with a photograph of some famous model or whoever it is in a magazine, and the person really just doesn't look anything like that.
All right.
And we have to very politely tell them that their expectations are a little bit unrealistic. Or as one of my colleagues put it once, "Excuse me, madam, this is medicine, not magic."
Yeah, obviously you can't say that, but that is funny. I mean, so you just kind of tell them, look, if that's what you're looking for, I'm not the guy, right? I can't do this.
Right, right. Basically, I always start off by giving a person a mirror and saying, let's take a look together. Why don't you show me what's on your mind? Why don't you show me what you see? Because sometimes what I'll see is not what the person is noticing themselves. So we'll go over what their concerns are, what their desires are, and I'll try to get a feel for them. I think you treat everybody as an individual.
Right.
And then the bottom line is you also want to get a sense of them as a person. Are they realistic? Are they unrealistic? So again, going back to your example, the woman who comes in who doesn't look anything like the picture she's showing me, I have to politely try to say, look, let's look in the mirror together. Let's put this picture down. Show me what's bothering you, and let's talk about what we can do about it. And if I get the sense that she's not following me and she's just still thinking about that picture, then I will politely decline taking the case.
Really?
Yeah,
And this is for men too now, right?
absolutely. I would say over 20% of the patients that we treat are men. In fact, I was mentioning before I came over here, my last patient of the day was a gentleman, handsome young man, came in for Botox and filler. And, you know, he comes in on a regular basis, and so does his wife.
When you say a regular basis, once every 3 months?
Botox is typically every 3 or 4 months. Fillers can be 6, 9, 12 months.
Oh, so when you say fillers,
Yeah.
they last longer than Botox.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Botox, which by the way, at this point is almost like saying Kleenex because it's the brand that everybody knows, but there are several different products that do the same thing. And we were involved in the trials for those. The names aren't actually important,
Right.
but they work to relax muscles. So the main place where we use the Botox group is this sort of upper part of the face,
The eyes.
in between the
I see,
eyebrows, the forehead, et cetera, because that's mostly muscle activity. From here down, that's more where we use fillers because as we age, it's been scientifically shown that we lose volume. We lose it in the temples. We lose it under the eyes. We lose it in the cheeks. We lose it in the lower cheeks. We lose it down here. So basically, fillers are designed to, correctly done, put back things where they used to be.
Right. I mean, I didn't realize that, but I think you explained it to me. Was it you? Because people always go, why is it older people get older and it looks like their nose and ears get bigger? Not really. It's just that you lose everything.
Right.
And it makes your nose and your ears look bigger.
Exactly. So a youthful face has that heart shape to it, or it's sometimes described as an upside down triangle. And then as we lose volume and we lose elasticity, the triangle turns right side up, and everything comes down here.
Oh.
And so it changes
So
all.
the triangle usually is like this. As you get older, it goes like that.
Yeah, exactly. So the bottom line is, as you said,
Wow.
the whole geometry of the face changes, and correctly done, you're trying to put things back where they were. Now, again, some people, so we say to people, we're going to try to make you, we can't really turn back the clock, but we're going to try to make you look like the best version of yourself, realistically. And then the bottom line is some people may say, okay, but you know what? I always had really thin lips, and I don't want huge lips, but I'd like my lips to be a little bigger than they ever were. And we say, sure, we can do that. And then we basically listen to the patient, and as long as they're realistic, we go for it.
Okay, but then why is that? And I always go, is it the doctor's fault? Is it the patient's fault? You see some girls and you look at their lips and you go, oh, come on, man. It's that Daffy Duck look.
Right.
But didn't the doctor say to her, honey, listen, I'm telling you, I can't do it this big? Or does the patient overrule you and go, I don't care, I want my lips to be bigger?
It's a great question, and it comes up more frequently than sometimes we wish it would.
Right.
I think there's a little bit of both. Number one, again, as a physician, you're trained to listen to your patient.
Right.
On the other hand, you have to use your own judgment. So again, as another colleague of mine jokingly says, we've got some people who come in and their lips are in 2 different time zones. So if I have a person who comes into me who's already been to several doctors and they've already had a lot of filler put in their lips and it already looks exaggerated, or to use your term, Daffy Duck,
right,
or whatever, and they say, I want more, I want my lips bigger, then again, I'm just not comfortable doing that.
You can decline.
I will decline, yes. I mean, we have the good fortune here that these are not medically necessary procedures, so you're not refusing somebody a life-saving treatment.
Right.
So if you feel it's not the right thing to do, then you're within your right to say, you know what, I'm just not comfortable.
Right. I mean, because your referral is everything, right?
Of course.
Your work is all referral in a way.
Correct.
I mean, because you want somebody to go, oh my God, you look so great. Your lips look so, who did your lips though? Dr. David Bank. Or you don't want it to be bad and go Dr. David Bank. You don't want that.
Right, exactly. You don't want your name, you don't want somebody walking around with your name on their lips if their lips don't look good.
Very good, David. Their name on your lips. I like that. Right. Now, is it mostly, what do you mostly do every day? Is it a lot of Botox, a lot of fillers?
My personal day is mostly doing Botox and fillers. And again, the great thing now, and as I mentioned before, we were responsible for a lot of these FDA trials. We have multiple different fillers. So we think of it as a toolbox with a lot of different tools in it. So some of them are thicker, some of them are thinner, some of them are a little bit more malleable, some are a little firmer.
Yeah.
So basically, when you're working on a person's face, you can use just the right filler in just the right place to create just the right effect. You're not stuck with just one filler, one size fits all.
So you decide what kind of filler that works for that person's face.
Exactly. And we'll use a different one perhaps in the cheek than we probably would use in the lips.
I got to tell you, makes me want to try it. I can't lie. What do you think, John? Before we leave here, you got to show me. What do you think I need, Doc? It's really fascinating to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I go to the gym to work out to have my body look better. What's the big deal?
Yeah, I mean, again, things have certainly changed a lot. It used to be, because I've been doing this for over 25 years, that people who would go for Botox or have fillers would be very hush-hush about it. They wouldn't discuss it. They wouldn't admit it. But now it's become so commonplace that people talk about it much more freely. They're much more open about it, and I think that's great.
It's funny because it's kind of, I'm thinking about it, David, it's a double-edged sword because you want to look better, but you don't want to look like not yourself.
Right.
So your best work is when somebody doesn't know that they did something.
Right. I mean, basically, we always like it when our patients come back, and the greatest compliment I get is a patient says to me, my friends are all telling me how great I look, but they can't put their finger on it. They're asking me, have you been away? Did you change your hair?
Are you sleeping better?
Are you sleeping better? Did you change your makeup? Something, you got a good night's sleep. Something's different. What is it?
Really? Wow.
That to me is the greatest compliment. I don't personally take it always, I wouldn't necessarily always take it as a great compliment if somebody said, oh, I like your lips, or oh, I like your Botox. That to me sometimes speaks that maybe it shows a little.
It shows a little too much.
Yeah.
Now, do you get women in there? Have you ever got women in there? Because from what I understand is people who come into you now are younger and younger all the time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I've been hearing that a great deal.
Yeah. We're getting patients now. Again, I've been doing this over 25 years.
Right.
And we're getting patients in their early to mid 20s. And that age group mostly is coming in either for Botox or actually for a little bit of lip enhancement. Those are the two most popular things in that age group.
I got to be honest with you, David. Now, why would somebody in their early 20s or mid 20s come in for Botox? I mean,
it's a great question. That's a great question. And we sometimes call it jokingly baby Botox. And one of the reasons they're coming in is, interestingly, prevention. So bottom line is many people resemble or take after more one parent than the other parent, and they kind of recognize that. And it may either be in their appearance or it might even be in their facial expressions. So if, for instance, a person comes in and they happen to make the same scowl that their father or mother makes, and their father or mother have really deep lines, they say, oh, no, I don't want to go down that path. I want to prevent it before it happens. So they'll come in and we'll use much smaller doses and just a drop of Botox to just gently relax those muscles so that they don't go down that road. And basically they use that parent almost as a crystal ball and say, wow, I can see my future. I don't want to go there.
I've never heard of it. That's incredible. So it's actually prevention.
It's prevention.
So because the mother or father has a scowl or something, that means they're going to have it too, usually?
Well, again, not 100%, but
Right.
Most of us tend to take after one parent or the other in many ways. And again, it doesn't even have to be exactly how you look. For some of these things, it can be the facial expressions that you make. So the scowl is just an easy one to get. So if you have a parent that's always scowling or always concentrating or grimacing, and you notice that you're making that same expression, and that parent has really deep lines that you could park a Hummer in, then basically the bottom line is they say, you know what? I see my future and I don't like that. I don't like where this is going. And fortunately, I can do something about it. They don't have to come in every 3 months. They may come in once or twice a year, a couple little drops, just to keep the muscles relaxed so they don't break down that collagen in the skin and get those lines.
Wow. What happens? Did you ever get someone who comes in and it's just too late? The lines are all over. You go, what could I do here?
There are definitely people who you wish had come in a little bit earlier.
Right.
So again, it all comes down to realistic expectations on being on the same page with that patient. So for instance, you might say, okay, if I look at this person, there's no way I can make all those lines go away. There's no way I can.
No matter how much filler.
No,
Botox
filler. And also, we don't use just filler and Botox. We have all the latest lasers and skin tightening devices and other things. So it's, Botox and filler are just two of the tools.
You do red light therapy?
We have red light therapy. We have lasers to get rid of brown spots. We have lasers for wrinkles. We have lasers to enhance your skin texture, tone, get rid of fine lines, sun damage, stimulate collagen, tighten. There's all sorts of incredible technologies because actually the Botox and filler are under the skin. The skin is actually the canvas itself. So you need to do all this work, but depending on how much sun damage there is, depending on how much, other genetic stuff's going on in the skin itself, you may have to do some work on the skin as well. But to answer your question, bottom line is, again, if I say to the person, okay, here's that mirror. What are you trying to achieve?
Right.
What's your goal?
What's your goal?
What's your goal? And if the person says, I want to look 18 again, then I politely excuse myself and say, I have a phone call I have to take.
Right.
But the bottom line is, if they say, look, I get it. I'm I've got a lot of lines. I got a lot of wrinkles. I don't expect them all to be gone. But the one thing that really drives me crazy is these lines here. Can you do something to soften up these lines here? If you do that, doc, I'll be happy. And I say, okay, I can work with that. That's fine. We can do some filler. We can do a little skin tightening, maybe a couple of other little maneuvers. And bottom line is that person still has all the other lines and wrinkles. But if I've solved the problem that they've come in for, that's a happy patient.
Right, because when they look in the mirror, that's all they see is those lines.
Right.
They don't see the other ones, right?
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right. So again, listening to the patient's crucial.
Wow. I mean, do you ever get somebody that comes in and wants something? I mean, a young person, and you say, "Sweetie, you're just too young. I can't do anything with you."
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I have no problem doing that. And again, it's often happily in a very positive way, which is to say, bottom line is you're a young, very attractive person. I'm not going to lie. Yes, it's often a very young, attractive person. And your cheeks are full, your lips are full, you don't have any lines. And the bottom line is at least a little, if they say, I don't, again, go back to that same line.
Because these are always go first, I guess, right?
They go first. But you point out to them, go to a nursery, look at babies. Even babies have little lines there. The only thing that doesn't have a line there is a mannequin. So the bottom line is you say to them, you know what? I see your lines, but you haven't lost any volume. If I get rid of your lines, you're going to look like a mannequin. And trust me, you're not going to be happy either with how you look, and you're not going to be happy with me. So do me a favor. You look great. Enjoy it. Maybe come back 5-10 years and we'll talk about it.
I mean, the more doctors should be like you, David. Seriously. I mean, look at the poor Michael Jackson. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
When he kept going, didn't the doctor look at each other and go, Michael, we can't do this, Michael.
Right.
But they just, he probably said, I'll give you $500,000, and they did it.
Well, the problem you also get into is that I never treated Michael Jackson. I don't know who treated Michael Jackson, so I want to start with that caveat. But the point is that the first doctor who maybe did something and it was reasonable may have actually had integrity. And when, I assume Mr. Jackson, Michael, asked for something that maybe went too far, that first doctor may have said, you know what, I'm not comfortable doing this. But the problem then is, it's not that hard for Michael Jackson to go find another doctor who's willing to take the money, cash the check, and do it. And so, I live with that every day too. I fully, realize that woman with the lips that I think are already too full, who I politely say, I'm just not comfortable putting more in. I'm aware of the fact that she may go down the block or go somewhere else and find a doctor. We'll do it, but at least I get to sleep. I get to sleep at night.
But that's also why you have an impeccable reputation.
Thank you.
When people up here in Westchester, or even in Manhattan, when people from Manhattan come up to here, hello, that says something. Because there's a lot of great doctors in Manhattan too.
Absolutely,
to be honest.
No shortage.
No shortage. So when I hear people come up to see you up here in Westchester. Now, you're in your office. Do you have other doctors who do what you do too?
Yes. We have other doctors in the office.
Different things.
Right. We have doctors who do both. Some of the doctors do some of the same work that I do.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we still do traditional medical dermatology. So I have a skin cancer specialist doctor.
Right.
We also have, a physician assistant who sees a lot of the medical stuff. And then I have an incredible staff who do a lot of the technologies we were talking about before, and they've been with me forever. One of whom I'll give a shout out to, is named Lisa. And Lisa has been with me since my 31-year-old son was 3 months old.
Oh my gosh, she's been with you that long?
Yeah, Lisa's been with me that long.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's good to get great help. But when you talk about, so as a doctor, dermatologist, unequivocally, I want to say this right now, is the sun bad for you?
Yes.
You didn't even think about that.
Didn't have to think
So
about
if you
it.
want to stay wrinkle-free and stay young-looking, stay out of the sun.
Well, again, we're realists.
Right.
Bottom line is, it's fun to do outdoor activities.
Right.
It's fun to play tennis. It's fun to play golf. It's fun to go boating. It's fun to do a
You-
million. You name
right.
it. It's fun
you
to be
go on your
outside.
boat. You have it, right?
Absolutely. So we're not asking people to be hermits or vampires and stay inside and stay in the dark.
Right.
The only thing we're asking is use sun protection. Use a little common sense. If you're going to be out, put some sunscreen on. If you're going to play tennis, perhaps if it's possible, play it a little earlier in the morning, play it a little later in the afternoon. You know,
Wear a hat.
Wear a hat. Yeah, that's all. So we're not trying to take away people's joy in lives and all the fun they have outside.
Right.
We're just saying, try to protect yourself.
Wow. In medicine that you do, are there any new procedures that are really getting people like raving about? Anything new?
Well, one of the things that we have that's new, that's fun, is something called a hydrofacial, which is a really great procedure that uses it's a water-driven system,
Right.
but basically it simultaneously works to exfoliate the skin, deep clean out the pores, and then rehydrate the skin afterwards. So it's a relatively quick procedure. It's not painful, but it's incredibly healthy for the skin, and people love it. There are different solutions that we use. There are different things that can
Really?
be added to it that can then be infused into the skin for health reasons and to give different looks. But bottom line is, people come out and they're just glowing. They're radiant. It's a fantastic procedure.
And how long does that take when somebody
They're
wants
actually, I'm sorry to interrupt
go
you,
ahead.
Chazz. They're actually fairly quick, maybe 15, 20
that?
minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
And
No,
with-
and no downtime.
And no downtime.
Yeah. I have to say my beloved wife just had her first one and she could not stop raving and her skin is glowing.
Really?
Right.
Wow. And men get it too?
Absolutely.
Might have to come and visit you, David.
Anytime,
I
Chazz.
might have to come and visit him.
The door is always
The door's
open.
open. I might have to say, well, what do you think? If I wanted to do, I mean, well, look, you know, I'm not a kid, you know, but I think about it sometimes, and maybe one day, who knows?
Chazz,
Yeah.
anytime you want. I
Well,
don't think you need a thing, but anytime you want to
you're
come
a good
in.
doctor. You're a good doctor. Now, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, excuse me, if someone wants to come and see you, where are you located?
We are located at 359 East Main Street in Mount Kisco, New York,
Oh, Kisco.
right? And our telephone number is 914-241-3003, or you can visit us online. The practice is the Center for Dermatology. So the website is thecenterforderm.com.
You heard it. The Center for Derm.
The Centerforderm.com.
Derm.com. Well, I had to have you on because my wife, you know, every time she has girlfriends over the house, they always rave about. I mean, we've been friends. I mean, for a long, long time. Let's full disclosure here, but they rave about Dr. David Bank, and I go, you know what? I go, John, I gotta have Dr. David Bank on. You know, and I always tell people that, full disclosure, I know you many, many years.
Sure.
But I just thought it would be great to have you on because I'm interested in it. You definitely see a lot of men and women. You have an impeccable reputation. Everybody always raves about you, that you just say, I'm not doing anything. I don't need your money. I'm not doing anything that I don't think you need. But anything else you want to add before we sign off?
It's been an absolute pleasure, Chazz, as always.
Oh, no.
And by the way, that honey pizza is
Oh,
fantastic.
the honey pepperoni pizza.
Yes.
Yes. He came to my restaurant, had the honey pepperoni pizza, and he loved it.
Absolutely.
Loved it. Maybe we could do a barter system. I'll give you honey pepperoni pizza. You give me a few. I'm just kidding.
Done.
David, it was great to see you.
Chazz, always a pleasure.
Dr. David Bank, go to his website, call him if you have anything you want to talk about. Because somebody could come in for a free consultation or
Of
just to
course.
see. They can do
course.
that?
Of
Oh,
course.
great. All right. This is Chazz Palminteri. You're listening to the Chazz Palminteri podcast. Don't forget my shows. Go to chazzpalminteri.net. You'll see where I'm playing. My restaurant in White Plains, 264 Main Street in White Plains, Chazz Palminteri's. The pizza is off the charts, especially the honey pepperoni. My pizza in we only sell pizza in White Plains. In Manhattan, 30 West 46th Street. Incredible place, romantic. You'll have a great time. God bless you, and see you next week.